Welcome to the Cinefied podcast, the show where we enlighten you on what film to watch next. My name is John. I'm joined today by Cassie and Tiffany.
Hi.
Hello, guys. Today we are discussing Backrooms, the breakout A24 horror hit from 20-year-old director Kane Parsons. It has the highest grossing opening for an original horror film in cinematic history, with $81 million domestically and $118 million worldwide on its opening weekend. It also broke the previous A24 opening record, tripling the previous record held by Civil War. So, today we're talking internet culture, we're talking liminal spaces, vibes, atmosphere, themes of accountability and trauma, and a generational handoff in horror filmmaking. The quick summary for Backrooms is after a therapist patient disappears into a dimension beyond reality, she must venture into the unknown to save him. Now, our very own Cassie, close personal friend
of the Cinefied podcast.
Just in general, just everybody's buddy.
Right.
She actually wrote the Cinefied's review for Backrooms. A little snippet of her review says the feature-length film draws on elements inspired by the Backrooms' humble beginnings and has a whole lot more to chew on in Kane Parsons' sometimes messy but always mesmerizing feature film debut. So before we jump into our thoughts on the film on Backrooms, what were everyone's ideas and notions going in, and what were those expectations? Anyone can jump in.
Well, Backrooms, I haven't been like a long time follower, I guess. I was gonna say fan, but I guess that works too. But being in Wisconsin, the original Backrooms photo originated in Oshkosh, which is where I went to college, actually. So, and not a lot of like cool stuff happens in Oshkosh. So that I kind of like immediately took a liking to it just because I had that connection to it. So a combination of that and just like, I love creepy like internet stuff. Like I'm not a big 4chan person, which I think is where this originated, but I'm a big Reddit. I'm all about Reddit, like the creepy like Reddit stories that you can't tell if like is this person just making this up or I'm so into that kind of a thing. So it kind of like checked all the boxes for me. And I just knew right away, like as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, I'm so in. I'm so in.
Yeah,
you were hooked.
Oh, sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying Cassie seemed very hooked.
Yeah.
No, I was also hooked. See, I only remember like being. I only remember like the first like photo post from the 4chan, and then I remember all the random creepypastas that came after it, just like kind of roamed around the internet sphere, but I was never like super involved with like the YouTube channel or anything, but I've seen clips and snippets and stuff and I knew of it. And then we watched the movie, and then me and my friend who I went to see the movie with, we came home and he was like, no, you have to sit here and watch some of this stuff. He's like, it's like all this stuff that the guy animated, like it was so cool. And I was like, wow, like can definitely see like where this movie like just like blossomed from this guy just like teaching himself like how to like make all this stuff on YouTube. But like the original photo has creeped me out for so long. I'll get into this later, but like what I was excited for was just like the capturing that feeling of the eeriness of being in a liminal space like that. And I've experienced that plenty of times that I can get into in a little bit, but I was like, wow, this is going to like hopefully just capture like the essence of being in that space. And I feel like it did that beautifully. So it met my expectations.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, honestly, my whole I was kind of unsure and not really into because I'm an old, My daughter's the one who actually got me into.
We're the same age, John. Shut up.
So I'm speaking for myself, Cassie. Okay, to be clear. But my daughter's 16, and she, this is more of her generation's kind of mark on the genre. And I think a lot of liminal space kind of subculture that's blossomed, mainly due to the creepypasta stuff like Backrooms, really kind of found a voice during COVID because the world became something of a liminal space. And I just think it was just the right time, the right moment where this new, version of horror really found some legs and ran off with it. And so my expectations for Backrooms was I was just hoping it would give me the same creepy vibes and that same unsettling feeling that is hard to put into words that those old internet videos from 4chan and elsewhere provided when I saw them the first time. So so we'll go into our thoughts on the film, and we'll start with you, Tiffany, because you said that it met your expectations. What do you mean by that? Say more about that.
Okay, so I went into this and I was like, I could not imagine like what kind of story they were gonna go with this. Like, I'm like, how are they gonna screenwrite this? Like, how are they gonna like mold like a story around this? And it was very surface level. And I was okay with that because, again, I'm like, I'm here for the cinematography. I'm here for the production design. And the score was incredible. And just the overall, like, and I don't know if it's because I was a little tired because I saw this at 9:40 p.m. on a Sunday night before I had work at 7:30 the next morning. I don't know if it's just because I was, like, tired and just, like, drowsy, and so I'm a little like vulnerable to like that sort of like energy, and I'm just like I just kind of just like got immersed into the space, and I kind of didn't totally care. Not that I didn't care, because I liked where it went, but I was definitely like not like upset with anything that happened because I kind of just let it ride. I kind of like I didn't expect too much out of it to where I was like hyped it up in my head, but I definitely like thought that it did everything that I would have wanted it to do. I guess the only thing that I wish it did a little bit more of was literally, Cassie, I think you said this in your review, was literally just like walking the spaces as if you were like the first person camera, like at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Like, I wish it was more of that because that's what a lot of the YouTube videos are. And that's what is like the what's around the corner, and like elongate that a little more. But again, like, I didn't totally hate what happened. I'm very eager to see where he takes this, not story, but where he takes this concept, because I definitely think that this was a good starting point to like a much potentially bigger thing. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Well, Cassie, you wrote the review. What are your thoughts?
I did.
In podcast form.
Well, I was gonna say, Tiffany, you said, you were maybe vulnerable because you were tired or whatever, but I have to say I was not tired. It was only like 6:00, and I too got very
like
immersed. No.
Yeah.
So the litmus test for me, and so I don't mean to like bring this up all the time, but it is, big deal in my life. My mom passed away in December. And so that's kind of always on my mind, no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And so if I watch a movie, and it doesn't happen super often, but it happened where like the movie was over and I was like, oh my God, I didn't think about mom that whole entire time. Like, I was that locked in. Yeah. Wow. So that's a meaningful way that I can tell that like I was really drawn into a story and like an atmosphere, and that movie did that for me. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Like the ultimate escape. That's what
exactly
we want when we go to the theater.
Exactly, which is funny because it's an escape for you, but they're trapped. But somehow it's an escape for the viewer.
Yeah.
No, I really liked it. I was trying to be nonpartisan, I guess, even though I was really hoping that it was gonna be good, but I think I really admire that they branched out of the found footage genre. Like, I saw a lot of people say, oh, they should have just kept it found footage. And I actually think it was really brave to do something else with it, because that I feel like that would have been like the easy way out. And so it got a little convoluted, and yes, very confusing, but part of that is the story, because we don't get any answers, because neither do the scientists who are trying to figure out what's going on, right? So
and I like that. I like that.
I really enjoyed it. I think it was a great escape. I can see, maybe why other people didn't vibe with it as much. but I'm all about just weird, and it went weird, and I love that it was like brave enough to go that weird.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really liked it too. Talking about expectations earlier, like I wasn't sure what they would do with it, like in the context of like the found footage thing, like because the found footage genre, that's where Backrooms, the internet sensation Backrooms, kind of found its footing. And I liked how they used a bit of mixed media in the film, where you start off in the opening sequence, and spoiler free, or spoilers are fair game here in this podcast. But like you start off with the POV footage of the guy in the back room as a scientist, and then later on, when Clark is bringing in his employees for research, and we kind of go back to the camera for a little bit. It was a good kind of mixed kind of like delivery of the space, because you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get that narrative film, and you also get like the inspiring found footage take of Backrooms, which I appreciated. They didn't do too much of either, or I guess they didn't do too much of the found footage, I should say. That could probably get a little nauseating after an hour and a half, I assume. But
yeah, I don't like fully found footage movies.
Yeah.
Like, I think the only one that like gets away with it for me is Hell House LLC.
Oh, sure. But just the first one.
Yeah,
just the first one.
Yeah, just the first one.
Not the 16 behind them.
Yeah. Or like Blair Witch. That's like the only
I
one
was
that,
just
like,
gonna say, what about Blair Witch Project?
Yeah.
The OG.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm glad like the presentation was like, I think, good enough split. You know, I'm like glad we got some mostly high resolution film.
And I really did dig how I forget the screenwriter's name, but like how they actually weaved in a narrative between Chiwetel Ejiofor's character of Clark and Renata Ryan's of his therapist. I think her name's Mary. Yes. How they both have they're balancing their own trauma, and that gets manifested through the back rooms. And not only did I thought that I think like the story was like, it was cool and interesting, but like to Cassie's point, like this film was not interested in giving us answers. And I think that was kind of the point. And I was okay with that. But what I really think really sold the whole thing for me was how strong their performances were. And I was really like blown away by Chiwetel's performance as Clark. Because he is acting, I mean, they both are, but he's especially acting his ass off in this movie. And they're not just avatars. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Like we feel what they're going through. At least that's my take on it. How did you guys respond to their performances?
I thought they were amazing. But I also like, I love that I don't know, maybe it's just because, again, I was tired, but like Clark's descent into madness, I just wasn't expecting it. Like, I feel like I'm like, the writing was on the wall, like literally, but I straight up was just like, how's he gonna, what's he doing? Like, and then he just like completely loses himself. And when we get to that scene at the table, I was just like mesmerized. I was like, what's he gonna do? Where's he gonna go with this? And it was haunting all the way until like the end. And then like when he was not with us anymore, I like found myself missing him. I was like, wait, but like he's not really gone. Like,
we didn't see a body. We didn't see a body.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I like missed him for like the rest of the movie. I was like, man. So, like, if that tells you anything, they were just so great. And I just love that it's like this, it's presenting you with like, here's one person going into this situation, here's another person going into this situation, and it's about choice. It's about how you choose to deal with these things. And I saw this crazy post somewhere where someone's like, and I don't know if it was like rage bait, but somebody like made like a hot take post. It was like, this movie is anti-therapy, and it's like, it's shaming therapists for being shitty. And I'm like, it's literally humanizing therapists, if anything. It's like, hey, here's this therapist, and like
she goes to his job to make sure he's okay.
She goes
the extra mile
into the dark, like literally. And when she realizes she can't save him because she's also human and he also doesn't want to do the work to get better, it's like she's like, okay, I gotta get out of here, and like she chooses to leave, he chooses to stay, and in the process he drags like 2 other people down there with him, which you can see is like when you're really, really not doing well, you could like drag other people into your into your baggage with you.
As someone who's a therapist in his day job,
You are? Really?
You're a therapist?
Yeah.
Why? How did I not know
That's
that?
so cool.
Because it's a new. I just got into it. Like I'm associate therapist.
God, that's so cool. I want to be.
I did 22 years in the Marine Corps, and then I pivoted hard into therapy.
That's so cool.
So it is. I love it. I love because I love helping people. But to the point of that obscure obtuse post you read, Tiffany, like this is not anti-therapy.
No, it's
in
not.
fact, when the first scene of them in therapy together, I was like, this is good. This is really, really accurate. And then I actually did. I don't know if y'all caught this when they were replicating the therapy session later at that kitchen table. Do you notice? Did you kind of clock that the woman, the not woman in the background was like supposed to be his wife?
Yeah.
With the red hair?
I wasn't sure if it was or not. But
That's what I thought it was. Who I thought it was.
I didn't catch that, and I saw people talking about it on Reddit. And then I was like, oh, that was supposed to be his wife?
Yeah,
so,
I'm still not sure.
Like, all these things, I really want to watch it again now because I'm like, we never saw her, right? Like, I don't think we ever saw a photo of her.
Well, just a picture, right?
Was there a picture?
And how he just describes her.
At his like bedside, yeah, because wasn't there a part where he was like, because he was sleeping overnight, like at the place, and he has which I thought it was weird that he would have a picture of them, even because they're not together anymore, and he doesn't speak too highly of her. So I'm like, why do you have a picture of her? But I don't know. I wasn't sure.
You're right. There is a photo of her. You're right.
Yeah, it's very quick. So, but you can tell that it's him and a red-haired woman.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I totally just omitted that from my head.
Yeah.
And I think it was really just telling how the Backrooms, like, because I'm still, my daughter, she sent me videos to, like, she gave me homework. Hey, this is what you need to know about the Backrooms. I mean, listen, she's Gen Z, like, she knows what she's doing with all this stuff. And how, like, you know, when Mary, I think her name's Mary, the therapist, she goes into the Backrooms to retrieve and find Clark. She's in Clark's subconscious, essentially. And then when she, you know, and like that, the big pirate Clark is like all of Clark's anger and all of his unwillingness to change and just kind of be stuck in his ways and stay in the Backrooms because this is where it's easy for me. And then it pivots to her running away, and now we're in her subconscious with her her childhood home being a thing. Like it took me, like I sat in my car after I got out of the theater. I was like a little bit like, what the fuck did I just watch? Kind of a thing. And I'm like, oh, that's what they're doing. That's so crazy. Like, I don't know. But that ties into my next point. I want to ask you two about, like, we were talking about how great the acting was, somewhat. But how did y'all feel about like the set decoration and cinematography? What were some technical aspects that really stood out for you guys? I think you mentioned the score earlier, Tiffany.
Yeah, no, I didn't realize like Kane Parsons also did the score. I didn't realize that.
Did he?
Did you? Yes. I think him and someone
I did
else.
not know that.
Yeah, and like apparently, like I think he did the score like for the YouTube channel, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna double check that, but I was literally listening to the score the following day at work, and it was such a vibe while I was working. I was just like, amazing. Hell yeah.
That's cool.
I just keep thinking that this is what this kid did during COVID. Meanwhile, I was just like drinking wine on my couch. Like, what?
I gained 20, 30 pounds. Like,
yeah.
What do you mean?
Girl, same. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And it just also, I'm just like, he taught himself all of this stuff. He taught himself like After Effects and how to edit and like all this stuff. And like a lot of this stuff is like, I've been saying, I went to film school, but it's like, I've been saying for years, like, I'm like, a lot of the stuff you could teach.
None
yourself.
of it's relevant anymore.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
you guys are touching on something I'm going to bring up later, but
okay.
I don't want to cut you off, Tiffany. Keep going.
You can keep, no, go ahead. I'm going to look this up really quick.
Okay. Well, before we get to that, I did want to ask, you know, or hear from you both, and maybe Cassie, if you want to jump in while she's looking the other thing up. Set decoration, cinematography, what?
Yeah.
You know, how well do you think Kane brought the world to life.
I mean, I always enjoy movies that are set in like the very early 90s just because my obviously memories, we were talking about we're old. We we were like 4 in 1990, so I have very vague 5. Yeah, sure. Okay. We were 4 going on 5. But even seeing like Mary's outfits and the the shoulder pads and the tailored pants and
the TV commercials and the phones.
The cassette tapes, and even the fact that people they didn't have cell phones. It's so weird to like see people not like glued to their phones, which is like sad. That makes it a horror movie in itself, that like that feels so foreign, I think.
It's like a different time.
But I did enjoy the sort of like muted 90s aesthetic, and I loved how even in the real, quote unquote, real world, it still looked kind of fake,
kind of grungy,
if you will. Even the
Yeah.
real world felt very eerie, like nothing felt quite right, which I think is it goes to sort of mimic the main character's mental state, I guess, because he's not quite in his right mind. So like from the get-go, like something just kind of feels off. But especially some of the big shots with like the sky and the mountains in the background and stuff, it feels like you're like on a giant movie set. Like it almost feels like you're in the Backrooms. And I liked it. I liked that really slightly off feeling that just made you feel kind of creepy before anything bad even happened.
I have something to piggyback off of that I wanted to talk about. So I totally agree with you. Like a lot of it was very uncanny, right? Like a lot of it feels off. Like a lot of it, it's like, is this reality? Yes, it looks like reality. Like every layer you get to in the Backrooms, it's just like a more distant, familiar version of itself. But it's like, why is it so off? Well, because it's stagnant. It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Someone put it's just creepy. Like, at some point someone put something there, but then it's just like, and then you look at the people that are back there, like the figments, like of the memories, like their distorted faces, like in like, what else have we been seeing a lot of lately that doesn't look right on social media and all this stuff?
Of course,
like it's like, I feel like this movie came out at such a perfect time to like remind people like the importance of humans making this stuff. And this movie did not rely heavily on special effects the way like a lot of movies nowadays do. Like I feel like I saw a lot of it was most of it was a set. And I think I also saw a video where someone was talking about like how some of it was shot outside too, but it like still looked like it was inside. Like, I don't know how they did it, but it just goes to show that like practical effects it could still be done. It could still be done. It'll look amazing. And it's just like such a weird time right now to like constantly be questioning what you're looking at. Like, is this real? And like this movie, like I feel like encapsulated that like uneasy feeling so perfectly. And I don't know if they intentionally meant to do that, but it definitely feels very relevant to right now and like what we're all constantly seeing on our phone screens. So
I suspect it's a good point, Tiffany, but I suspect it was very intentional. And tying back to what you were talking about a few minutes back, about how Kane Parsons kind of he learned by doing. And a lot of these, we're in this weird zeitgeist almost of YouTube filmmakers coming out of the woodwork and making, for the most part, I would say, really interesting, remarkable film experiences. And so the question I was going to throw out to you guys is the movie industry going to shift its focus with YouTube as a platform and creators learning by doing and not being held back by locked studio doors like the old school way? Do you think this shift is just what the industry needs to stay fresh?
I mean, I think it's saying, I don't know about that per se, but it's loud and clear. It's like the people yearn for like non-Marvel movies. And I like Marvel. I love, Spider-Man. Like, I'm not anti-Marvel, but at a certain point, it's just like, oh my gosh, give us something original. Like, give us original, give us weird, give us unique, like, handcrafted, like you were saying. I think we're just so ready for that. So I hope, we just coming off Obsession too. Like May was such a good, amazing month for horror, like Hokum, Obsession.
I love Hokum
And
and
then
Obsession.
crazy. I know,
Yeah.
Still need to
same.
see
Yeah,
Hokum.
like the
I haven't seen
trifecta.
Hokum.
Okay, like it was amazing. And so yeah, I hope this is the start of, something.
Resurgence.
Yeah,
of,
exactly.
like,
A resurgence.
young adults coming in, and I'm like I'm like the last train out of the millennials. Like, I'm the last year of millennial, but I'm also very, like, I feel like I relate a lot to early Gen Z too. So it's like it's seeing these Gen Z people like come out and be like, we're gonna make horror films based on how we're coming up as young adults, and it's very prevalent with the definitely Backrooms. It's definitely commentary on this adulthood that you were promised, or that you were told, hey, you do all XYZ and you'll be set as an adult. And then it's like, that didn't happen. That's
Right.
not happening. It's still actively not happening. And so it's like, what happens when you're kind of just stuck in this space and you have to deal with these things? And I also, I think a lot of this, like, not the same sentiment, but I feel like Obsession had a lot of that kind of, I'm like, wow, no, this was definitely made by a Gen Z, like, young millennial type person, and it like made a lot of sense for that type of movie to come out right now too. But I forgot where I was going with this. But I did look it up. It was Kane Parsons who did the score, as well as Ido Van Bremen. I hope I'm saying that right. So it was both of them. And it's really good.
Yeah, that DIY, it calls back to John Carpenter, who made Halloween and made the score. He was one man wrecking crew. I mean, he had a team, but to your point, like just many irons in the fire to make the film happen. And I did like Obsession to the film, and I liked Hokum, but I think they were both more straightforward horror films, and I feel Backrooms really just ties into the A24 brand because it's more about abstractions. And I don't know, like, I think what you guys are saying about like the generational voice being present, like, I think this is a generational handoff. Like, not that older filmmakers that have been around for decades can't still put out a good film, but I think just look at the box office numbers. Like, people are hungry for, to Cassie's point, some original stuff. Like, I've seen the Marvel film where the big strong guy fights the evil bad guy, and then we get an end credit scene of bleep bloop or whatever for the next teasing the next film. Like, I have a side commentary. I saw Masters of the Universe today, the He-Man movie. I'm going to review that for Cinefied, and it's just 2 decades too late, with its tone and its humor. And it was made for $170 million. It's not going to see that money come back in. Which I think it's important to have those kind of events, but like, I think it also just kind of shifts the focus and narrows the focus on these new films like Backrooms, where it's young voices, young talent who learn by doing, that are giving credence to, the kids are all right. They're going to be okay. Look what they can do with minimal budgets.
Yeah. I don't know if this is like a totally fair thing to say, because this is just my point of view of working in the film industry. And like, I said earlier, I went to film school. It was a very like traditional type of film school, and my introductory to the industry was very traditional. Like, we're all starting out, like, you started at the bottom and you like work your way up, but then like we all like shortly realized, like when I started out, at least, like this is like 2017, 2018, like it's not what it used to be. And I feel like the reason why these, younger kids are like getting these movie deals is because they do all the work they do their own work on their own channels, and they just do it. They're not like on film sets for, big studios or little studios or indies or shows, TV shows, whatever. They're like hoping that they meet the right people. And I'm sure that still happens to some degree, but I feel like that ladder that used to be like, you know, we're talking 20, 30, 40 years ago, like people used to just walk onto film sets and like get a job and then they became a director. Like, you know, like you hear that stuff for like, I heard that all throughout all these different alumni that I met. It just generations of people who just got their starts or whatever, or it's like who they knew. But
networking,
but I just think like I should have listened when people were like, just make your own stuff, put it on YouTube. Like you never know where it's gonna go, and like we're seeing what that is when people are just persistent with like making their own stuff.
I know, and now it's like, damn it, I'm too tired to do it now.
Yeah, no, I feel like you could.
Yeah, I did YouTube for about 4 months during the pandemic, and I was really invigorated and excited, and then at 4 months in, I was just burnt.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just doing YouTube. I was also running a different podcast, and I was writing for Cinefied, I think at the time, I just started, and I was working full time as a Marine.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I was just I can't do it all. Something had to give, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, any closing final thoughts on Backrooms? Like, great discussion, ladies. This has been great.
I mean, I think I just wanted to point out how I love how it can be interpreted so many different ways, and because I've heard so many different interpretations or read different interpretations, and they all I understand them. Like, you know, I'm like, oh, I could totally see that. For me, I mean, it probably says a little about you, like what you take from it, like because when I saw it, I mean, I immediately read it as like, oh, this is so clearly about mental health. Like this is his mental health declining. And I know there were a lot of interpretations of what it meant when Pirate Clark like bit into him. And to me, that I remember in the theater thinking like, oh, he's destroyed himself.
Yes.
He's resigned to the fact that he doesn't have to change. Like, oh, it's just, he actually says, this is how I'm wired. It's okay. She says we don't have to change. And at that moment, that's when Pirate Clark, you know, it's like he literally
devours him.
Yeah, exactly. And so to me, that was instantly how I read it. I was like, he gave up, and that was the moment that it was just over for him, you know? So I had it seemed I got a really clear, like, mental health, message from it, and then I like went on the internet and everyone was like, oh, it's about AI and this and this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense.
It's anti-therapists.
It's anti-therapist. I know, and I love that. Like, I love those films that you can, you know, be so sure you know exactly what it's saying, and then you hear 10 other things and it's like, oh, I could totally see that too. Like, I love that.
It's the beauty of film language. That's also, I'm not trying to like talk about Obsession, but like that's why I liked Obsession too, because Obsession didn't give you all the answers. There were still a lot of things that were vague enough that's causing like heaps of discussion weeks later. And like this movie's having the same effect. And what did they come out like a couple weeks apart? And they're like dominating at the box office. And it's just like letting film language just be film language and not over explaining it to the audience, not overwriting dialogue and overwriting like just explaining everything all the time, like all this exposition, like it doesn't, you don't need all of it, like it's just speaking for itself.
Yes, and it leads to conversations, like people are talking about this and like how they're interpreting it, and it's lovely. I mean, I
like your point, Tiffany. Like there's not the second screen syndrome where they data dump all the exposition because everyone's on their phone instead of watching the film. And then to your point, Cassie, it's like if we all three watch the same film, but we could all three have different interpretations of the messages and the themes and our takeaways, and then that leads to healthy discussion about film discourse. You know, I think that's what people are so jazzed about it. People want to keep talking about it because. Like, not to bring the MCU up again. I mean, that's low hanging fruit. That's a cheap shot.
I know, but it's true. But like, there's nothing to discuss. I mean,
it's like it's A to B to C, and it's done.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know.
It doesn't trust these what the thing is that these movies trust these audiences. And I think I was listening to a podcast with Curry Barker from a couple weeks ago, and he literally was like, you have to trust that your audience like knows what's going on. And I was like, yes, that's literally like, that's literally it. I'm like, and it's like when you're spoon fed everything and like, or you're just like, or you're not spoon fed everything, but it still kind of doesn't like, the movie's not saying anything sometimes. Like that's also, it's just like, people just want to feel like they're engaging with the thing in front of them. And I think that's why people keep going back to the theater for these movies. And it's amazing and I love it. And I want to go see Backrooms again like this weekend. But I also, there's other things I want to see too. But I loved it. I can't wait for this. I can't wait to buy this and just have it on Blu-ray because this movie was awesome. And I really hope that he does more things like this.
Well, we'll shift over to ratings now. I think it's going to be kind of a given what we're all going to grade this film off of the Cinefied score. For those listening and not in the know, Cinefied has a 3-tiered rating system, and it's a icon of a popcorn bucket. If it's full, it means it's a must-see. If it's a semi-full or half-filled popcorn bucket, it's a maybe. And if it's a spilled popcorn bucket, it's a no thanks. Save your money. That's our recommendation.
Don't do it.
Spend your time and money elsewhere. So, Tiffany, per the Cinefied rating score system, where would you grade Backrooms?
Oh, she full.
Oh,
but with butter on top.
She's thick.
She's thick with that butter. And some little salt. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. You get it.
Cassie, like I spoiler alert, I already read your review. I know what you gave.
I literally physically already gave it a full popcorn.
Yeah, you said front row or
also
second row?
Full.
Where
second
you
row.
Second row?
Second row. Yeah.
Where do you all like to sit at in the theater?
I'm usually like, I think I usually go for like middle right for some reason. But my sister, this was her birthday gift to me. So she got the tickets and waited till last minute. So there just weren't that many left, which is why we were on the second row, which is fine.
That's what happened with us with Obsession. Last week, we ended up in the front row, all the way to the right. It actually made it scarier.
Sometimes it be like that.
Warped. Yeah. From Backrooms, I was dead center in the middle, which is where I like to be.
Yeah,
so that really helped. What about you, John? Where do you?
I like dead center, or I like in the middle of the screen, but all the way in the back. Last row.
That's good too.
Depending on the theater size. Like when I went to South by Southwest, I've been to South by a few times now, and the Paramount Theater is huge, and I don't want to be in the back because I can barely see the screen. So, but to your Cineplex down the road. The back of the theater is fine for me. I think the three of us kind of are aligned with the masses, as this has a per Rotten Tomatoes at the time of this recording, 87% critic score and 74% audience score. So I think also word of mouth has really helped keep the healthy cinematic experience going. The summers, I think this past weekend with Backrooms was the healthiest cinema weekend since pre-pandemic, since 2019.
What a concept, right? It's just like
mind blown.
The theaters
Cinema.
are dying, and it's like, oh, gee, I don't know, maybe greenlight some like more original
give
stuff.
Us stuff that we want. Yeah, like we don't have a lot of money these days, man. Like we gotta be picky, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Give
right.
us a good reason to spend our money. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I really hope if anything, it just drives studios to like give more faith in people with more original ideas. You don't need to like rush and make something because you're trying to hold on to this IP that you have that's about to expire in a year, and like, oh, we need to plop something out. It's like, no, clearly it's proof that people don't want that anymore.
I think proof's in the pudding, because Obsession, speaking of Obsession, they unilaterally paused its transition to on-demand video. They're keeping it in theaters, not indefinitely, but I guess at least with a 45-day window. That's what we all grew up with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember reading that and I was like, oh, you mean like the movies when a movie's doing good. Like it just stays in the thing. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the theater for a month and then it goes to.
I mean, I remember Titanic was in the theater for like 6 months. Like,
no,
seriously.
Yeah.
I think it was number 1 for 13 straight weeks or something. But
Yeah.
like that, talk about a lifetime ago.
Yeah.
The
I think
90s,
Home
baby.
Alone,
I know.
Home Alone was
Yeah.
like that too. Home Alone was in the theater for how many months? Even
Oh.
after, yeah, I remember that. I don't remember exactly how many, but I
Gosh.
remember people being like, "Oh, it was in the
I
theater for a long time."
remember seeing that in the theater, like when it came out. That's how old I
I don't think
am.
I saw Home Alone in the theater. I can't remember.
I
I
definitely
definitely
did
saw
not.
Titanic.
I saw Little Mermaid in the theater.
Me too. Little Mermaid was my first theater experience.
I think it
ever.
was mine too, as well. 87, 88, whatever it was.
What year did Little Mermaid come out? 98?
No,
88,
88.
88. Yeah.
The animation Little Mermaid came
Yeah.
out in the 88?
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
I
Mhm.
thought it was in the 90s. Okay,
No.
never mind. You know what? I should have
That's
asked
very
my husband.
sweet,
You can
Tiffany.
ask
I know,
my
right?
husband what movie anything came out. If he has never even seen it before. I'd be like, honey, what year did this movie come out? And he will tell me. It's his that's his thing. That's his party trick. He's never even seen half the movies that he knows the years they came out. But
That's
yeah,
impressive.
no, I'm gonna reevaluate some things in my head.
Yeah.
Why did I think that? Okay. She
Time
wants to go
is
to
a
sleep.
false construct.
Yeah.
No, for
you know.
real.
And on that note, thank you, ladies, for coming in today and talking about Backrooms. And thanks to you all for listening to the Cinefied podcast. You can find more of our episodes as well as all of our written reviews on Cinefied.com, including our review of Backrooms written by Cassie Hager. You can follow us on Letterboxd and all major social media platforms to stay up to date with our reviews. Now, pop some popcorn, grab a drink, and remember to stay Cinefied.